Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with Jack Massey. Jack, how you doing, sir?
I'm all good, mate. I won't make it awkward and try and shake your hand like Josh did.
Thank you, much appreciated. I do feel bad for that. Maybe we won't put it out, but no, we will. How's the newborn? How's that going?
Great, mate. Absolutely. She started sleeping through now, so it's going well. She was up every 3 hours before that, and then it just changed overnight. Now she sleeps from about 10 till 8, so yeah, buzzing with that.
Don't tell me you're giving her a boxing name.
No, definitely not. She won't be going in the boxing gym when she grows up.
Very interesting, your career, obviously with the step up in the early part of the year to heavyweight, but the phone doesn't seem to have rang for another opportunity, Jack. What's the situation?
No, do you know, we were struggling for fights before that. We had to take a chance, move up to heavyweight because we were struggling to get fights at Cruiserweight. We took that. And I think it's made things even worse. Obviously, dropping back down to Cruiserweight after that, I think it's made things a little bit worse. Obviously, there was a few Cruiserweights there on the night watching the fight. One of them come up to me and said to me, no one's going to fight you now. There was one watching ringside. He disappeared halfway through the fight. But yeah, I lost the fight, made a good account of myself, and stayed in there for a good solid 10 rounds with former world champion Joseph Parker, and I think it's shown, what I'm about, and I can get in there and take a dig and give it back as well at heavyweight. So, we'll get to a position, we'll get a fight, before the end of the year, and then we'll get into a position where, for a title where someone has to fight me then.
Yeah, like you're saying, look, you put in a real good effort against Joe Parker, and those aren't words you want to hear. You want to hear that you obviously won the fight, but your stock rose in defeat, and that's at minimum what you'd be looking for after a defeat.
Absolutely, yeah. The stock's gone way up after that fight, and it was a good learning fight, and it's massive confidence fight to stay in there and give as good as I got with Joseph Parker. It's a massive confidence boost going back into these cruiserweight fights. Take a dig off him, can take a dig off anyone in the cruiserweight division.
You're just looking at cruiser, or are you still exploring options at heavy?
Not really, no. We're looking mainly at cruiserweight. If there's something there at heavy, might get an offer, then we'll have a look at it. But yeah, mainly concentrating on the cruiserweight division.
Arsene Guillemarian, I believe, is looking to sign with Boxer, and obviously you were last out on a Boxer show. A fight maybe you're looking for?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one fight out there. What's optional? There's plenty of fights. We'll see what happens with Chris Billam-Smith. Apparently, Lawrence Okolie's going back in there and not having a rematch. I've heard rumours of. There's plenty of fights out there what we'd like. So we'll see what comes our way.
What do you think of that option of Lawrence Okolie taking on the rematch? The first time around, look, he was a heavy favourite, but Chris Billam-Smith, I don't know if the Bournemouth fans just roared him on. He shocked the world in.
Yeah, it was a funny one. I was expecting Okolie to beat him, actually, to be honest. I think with awkward people like that, I think if you've done a lot around sparring with him, you can sort of work out that awkwardness and get past that. I think that's what Billam-Smith did. But Okolie didn't really look himself in that fight, because they were pals in the past. He didn't really have that grit between his teeth. I don't know. He didn't really look himself, but I think it'll be a bit of a different fight. This next fight, I think it'll be a little bit different. So looking forward to see what happens.
CBS still the favourite for you?
Don't know. Swinging more towards Lawrence. I just think he'll come out a little bit different, but I kind of want Lawrence to win. I'm a bit half and half because I think Okolie, we've had talks in the past on social media, and he's game. He's very game, and he's honest in his opinion that he'll take a fight with me. And we tried to make it happen in the past. We were supposed to fight for the British title back in 2016, I think it was. But he's a game guy, and he'll fight anyone, which is great for me. But he's a very, very awkward fighter, and he's a sloppy fighter. And he's one of them fighters what he wouldn't really look good in there going against, whereas Billam-Smith, that fight would suit me down to the ground. We boxed in the ABA finals, and it got fight of the night. It's one of them fights where it'll sort of get people standing out of the seats, and that's a fight. So it's sort of like 50-50.
What do you think of Vidal Riley? Look, you'll obviously feel like you're higher up the chain than Vidal is right now, but someone on the rise, someone who also has that social media side to him too. But what do you think of his potential?
Yeah, he's coming up. I keep having a little look. He's coming up the rankings, and he'll be there soon. Obviously, he's got a lot of work to do to build up to these big fights, but he looks all right. He looks decent.
The fight I want to get your thoughts on is Jordan Thompson looking to jump up and take on the opportunity against Jai Opetaia. Jai, who's coming off that cracking fight with Maurice Bridis. Do you feel that this injury to the jaw, the recovery, and the fact that Thompson has quite a big crack on him, that he has a good opportunity here to win the world title against Jai?
Bit of a crazy fight, if you ask me. I think it's a bit of a mad one. He's sort of got that off being in the IBF rankings from it was my belt what I had previously at IBF European. He went on to win that, and he's not really been tested. Thompson, he's only sort of been in there with sort of British level fighters at the top. But yeah, it's a bit of a mad fight. I don't think Opetaia will have any trouble with him.
Do you feel it's too soon?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think he's got the experience to be stepping in there with someone like him.
Final things for myself, I saw on your social media, obviously the furore around the recent rank streak of results in performance-enhancing substances. You kind of said that you've been tested quite a number of times. I think this year you feel like the testing is ramping up, which is why they're catching people if they are using them. Do you feel that we're moving towards a better position by catching them now than we have been before?
Yeah, absolutely. You see all the positives popping up. Dillian White's, and to name a few. Conor Ben's, and they have really ramped it up. I've been in the pro game 10 years this year, and the only time I've been tested is British title against Riakporhe, and I've only had one random drug test come to the knock on the door. That was after the Parker fight. I've had 4 tests since the Parker fight, so I got tested straight after the fight. Then I've had them come to the door 3 times, and then they've missed me once. So they definitely ramp things up, which is great. It's great to see. Start weeding these horrible fucking drug cheats out of the sport. It's not good for the sport. I don't like to see it. So it's great in what they're doing, but they should have done it, years ago. I don't know if they've got more fundings or whatever, but it's good to see. But it's not great when they come on a Sunday morning at 7:30. Though. I will say that when I'm trying to clean the baby's bottles and all that, I was going to get back in bed, and then they knocked on the door on 7:30 on Sunday. But it is what it is, and it's good to see.
Good to see indeed, and let's get your thoughts on a final couple of things. Back at heavyweight division, obviously you're frustrated with boxing in terms of your position right now and getting big fights, but boxing fans are frustrated maybe with Tyson Fury at the moment not taking this fight or defending his world title, or at least taking on this undisputed fight against Usyk. He's taking on Francis Ngannou. Good money if you can get it, but not something boxing fans are too interested in.
No, it's crazy. It's not what boxing fans want to see, is it? It's Fury's sort of like he's a funny one. He says one thing, and then he does the total opposite, and he sort of contradicts himself a lot of the times. And you've got to sort of keep your feet on the ground and realise where you come from and who's put you where you are. I know he's done the hard work to beat everyone that's in front of him, but at the end of the day, if the boxing fans weren't tuning in, he wouldn't be where he is. And you've got to give the boxing fan. I believe you've got to give the boxing fan something back. Especially when you're at the top of the game like that. But the heavyweights, they sort of pave the way for everyone else underneath the lower weights. So the heavyweights have got to start fighting each other. They start making these big fights happen. Your Joshuas, your Usyks, your Wilders, and your Furies, make all these guys fight. I know obviously Fury and Wilder have, but make these fights happen and pave the way for the other fights on the undercards and the lower weights, and it'll make boxing boom again, and that's what we need.
Final thing I wanted to touch on, it seems like again, we're not going to be getting Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, and he's looking at different options. Anthony Joshua is those being potentially the Ruiz trilogy. Hrgovic doesn't seem likely, or the likes of Cabriel. Is there a fight that you want to see Anthony Joshua in outside of the Wilder fight?
I've always said it. I want to see Joshua and Fury. Joshua and Fury, big British heavyweight boxing fight. that's a mega fight in Britain as well. We don't want to see it in Saudi or anywhere else. We want to see it here on British soil. You know, get a big arena, get the fight made, and it'll be like the World Cup. Everyone will go out and watch it. Do you know what I mean? The pubs will be full. Everyone will be watching it. It'll be great. It'll be amazing. But right now, I can't see it happening.
I think boxing fans feel the same way. Jack, real pleasure speaking to you. Thanks for speaking to Seconds Out. Looking forward to seeing you back in the ring too.